Welcome to Outlander Media Network. We're live at the Chattanooga Barrelhouse Room in Chattanooga, Tennessee on the Non-Point Robot Heartsick Tour. And I'm with Alfonso. What's your last name, Alfonso?
It's actually Alfonso. My last name is Civile. It's okay. It's totally okay.
Civile?
Civile.
Yeah, I got you. And we get ready for a good show tonight. This is my second time seeing every band that's played tonight.
Oh, that's awesome.
I've seen you guys before.
Oh, awesome.
It was a hell of a fucking show. I'll never forget it.
Thank you.
Because I've never seen anybody ride a pink flamingo before.
Was that a Blue Ridge?
You're damn right! First guys out the damn game. Y'all weren't even on my list to see, and y'all got my most valuable player for that festival, because I always have somebody I go see that I don't have a clue who they are.
For sure.
And I was impressed. You all put on a damn show. Anybody that gets on top of that pink flamingo and rides like that, trusting them,
so fun.
them knuckleheads down there holding it. I was impressed.
Yeah, those last 2 years of the Pink Flamingo, I think this year we'll do something different. We'll do some other flavor.
Well, we won't do the Blue Ridge, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know, for sure.
I've done the Blue Ridge Festival from the beginning to the end. We always drove out there because it was an independent festival.
Yeah, it's one of the very few independent festivals that I got, for sure.
And when it went belly up that year, oh my God.
Yeah, it was spectacular fashion too, man. That was rough, but
I think y'all might have played for the campers out there too.
we did, yeah. So what ended up happening was essentially we got put on to play that, I want to say that Friday, and what ends up happening is we go on Friday, and we were like, okay, we only play Friday. We're gonna be driving like 20-something hours from Michigan. Let's just play the campgrounds every night, and that's kind of what we did. Every night after the festival was over and people were kind of walking back to the campgrounds, we would play. So we already had a bunch of gear and stuff set up. So when they announced that they were canceling the actual festival, we ended up just putting all our gear together and we threw a show. And we thought maybe like 400 people were showing up. It was like 5,000 people.
They had sold a lot of camping tickets there.
It was wild. I cannot believe there was that many people.
Like with us, we didn't get to sit because we didn't camp. Because I'm sorry, at the end of the day, I gotta have a fucking shower.
No, yeah, that's tough.
I just cannot.
That must have been wild for you too. I had like not camping there and having to drive in. Like the traffic was insane. The traffic was wild.
It wasn't bad coming in if you knew how to do it. Like I said, we've done so many of those festivals. We had a system down.
Gotcha. So you kind of had it figured out, right?
Oh God, yeah.
Okay.
We'd come in, we had no problems, and except the one night when we were leaving, it was Friday night, and there was nobody to guide us out. And the next thing I know, we were on the track qualifying. We got lost. We were trying to find our way out of the motherfucker. And I was like, how do we get out of this damn thing? And we were
driving around the track, doing a qualifier lap.
All right, well, how's this tour going right now?
Man, it's amazing. This is like, so for us, this is probably the biggest tour we've done yet. We are very much an independent band, and so for us to get opportunities like this is very difficult because we don't have the same representation that artists like Non-Point does or Crowbot and stuff. So, being asked to be on this tour was already a very big deal, but the shows have been amazing. I mean, Non-Point, obviously they are legends in their own right for the amount of time that they've been doing this. They've never quit. They've always been in the game. They have a slew of radio hits, and they obviously have a very dedicated fan base. Every show has been amazing. Like it really, really has. I could not believe how many people were at the show last night. Because Mondays, on a lot of tours on Mondays, it's tough. And, a lot of people on Monday don't want to come out, or like a Tuesday, whatever it is. On a Tuesday, well, yesterday was Tuesday, so it's hard to get people to be interested in something like right at the beginning of the week. But man, there's amazing show.
Well, one of the hard things right now that people are having is it's after Christmas, of course.
Yeah, of course.
The weather is not cooperating.
Oh, yeah.
This is our first show of the new year, and it wasn't supposed to be our first show. It was supposed to be our third, but last week, both our concerts canceled due to weather.
Oh, okay.
So,
because you guys had that big storm.
Yeah, in Nashville. And so we had 2 shows. One was on Friday and one was on Saturday, and even one was postponed all the way to March, and the other one was postponed to May.
Okay.
And I'm like, Jesus. Yeah. January is always a rough time for booking. I mean, we go shows wherever and whenever.
For sure.
And we love, because it's like getting out and, a release.
Yeah.
And like I said, one thing I noticed when you were playing at Blue Ridge is that you work with the crowd.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think that's something that has always been really important to me. A lot of the bands that I grew up listening to, a lot of the bands that I love, that was kind of like what I saw and what I took from it. Even then, I think that's just why I think this tour is so cool, because the bands on this tour all really have a high energy show, and they're all really a crowd-based band that does a show. Nonpoint is very, very interactive with their band, with their fans. Crowbot, same thing, same for us. So it's just something I always grew up with, especially listening to a lot of like hardcore music. I came from the hardcore scene in Miami, that kind of started getting into new metal and stuff. And so for me, a lot of hardcore shows are very in your face, very come up here, take the mic, kind of thing. So we've always kind of gravitated towards that kind of stage show.
Well, how do y'all end up in Michigan? If you went from Miami all the way to Michigan?
So I moved from Miami to Michigan to go to Michigan State University.
Oh.
That's where I studied. And so when I moved to Michigan, it was to go to school, and the band started from there. I met the guys, and we kind of started the band, and just kind of took off from there.
So y'all just, all of y'all are based out of Michigan now?
Yes, we all live in Michigan. We all live in Lansing, which is the capital. So myself, our bass player, our guitar player, and then our drummer lives about 25 minutes south of the city of Lansing.
See, I'm trying to remember. I used to go to Michigan a long time ago, and it was always some place that was like south of Detroit. It was about 40-something miles south of Detroit.
It's probably so.
It was like a little tourist town or something.
Yeah, so if you're going south, then you're looking at south from Detroit, you're getting closer to the Toledo area. So you're going into like Southgate and let's say, what else? So there's Southgate, and then there's like Hamtramck. There's another.
It was like a little tourist town.
Yeah.
It was like kind of like a little old school looking, like it had like little older buildings where like go shopping. And all
Okay.
that. Like
There's
that.
also Michigan is there's one city in Michigan that's very renowned for being a Christmas type city, and it's very old school Bavarian. It's called Frankenmuth, and Frankenmuth, their whole thing. So a lot of cities in Michigan, like smaller towns, have like namesakes that are like important to them. So Frankenmuth is like very Christmas Bavarian type thing. They celebrate like the whole Christmas. It's Christmas year round. That's kind of their whole thing. Then if you go up north, there's Kalkaska. Everything is trout. They're like one of the biggest trout producers in the entire states. And then you have like there's another place that does the asparagus festival, which is like in northern Michigan. Yeah, it's very Electric Forest used to be Rothbury. That's up in North Michigan. So Michigan's a very interesting eclectic state for sure.
And I'm assuming you're a Detroit Lions fan.
I support the Lions, but I'm not like a big football guy. I'm more into MMA. I do judo and jiu-jitsu.
Oh.
I've been training all my life. So I'm a big UFC fanatic. I love soccer, but I do like football. I live in Michigan, so of course I gotta support my Lions. But I'll always be a Miami kid. I'll always support the Miami Dolphins. But you'd be lying to yourself if you didn't say that the Detroit Lions have become America's team. And I think there's no team more deserving outside of the Browns that needs a Super Bowl win. From all the atrocities that the Detroit Lions have dealt with their entire football career till now, they deserve it, and I would love to see the Lions.
I think they're one of only I think it's 4 teams that have never been to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Detroit is one of them. It's like Detroit, Cleveland, Jacksonville, and there's somebody else.
One other team, I think it's like the Chargers, maybe?
No, Chargers have been to the Super Bowl.
Okay.
I watched that one. Atlanta.
Or is it the Vikings?
The Vikings lost 4 Super Bowls.
Okay.
I can't remember. I'd have to sit there and look at it. I know those 3 never have.
Yeah, I know. The Lions and the Browns have hold the record for worst seasons, like 0-16.
Oh.
So yeah, man. It's like, even though I couldn't sit here and name you a single Lions football player, I'm from Michigan. I want to see the Detroit Lions win. I support Michigan sports, so I think if there's any team in any city that needs a Super Bowl win more than anything, it's the Detroit Lions for sure.
So when you're talking hardcore bands, which ones are you mainly focused on?
Man, I grew up listening to Madball, Sick of It All, H2O. There was Martyr AD was a big hardcore band that I love. Converge, huge band. Snapcase, I love Snapcase. Marauder from New York was another band that I really loved listening to, still do. Obviously, I love Not Loose. I love all their old stuff and all the new stuff. Earth Crisis was another big band that I love. Strife was another huge band.
That'd be a cool tour to go with you and Not Loose.
Oh, dude,
They seem to be the up-and-comer on the
that
hardcore
band,
scene.
yeah, that band is huge. That band is, and you know, it's interesting seeing a band like them be so big and popular because it's just not normally the type of band or music that gets to that level. But I mean, good for them. I think when you have a band like that that can break through that sort of pop culture, stigma that faces a lot of heavy metal bands, it's only good for everybody else because it's like these bands exist, and if they can play a festival like I think it was Coachella that they played, right, and play that and be relevant there, that's good for everybody.
And they even got on the, was it the Jimmy Fallon show?
Jimmy Kimmel Live.
Oh, Kimmel, that's what it was.
It's like that's a huge one. It's like having Gojira at the Olympics. It's like that's good for everybody.
Yeah,
It really is. That opens so many doors for everybody. So yeah.
So once you get done with non-point tour, y'all have another tour coming in behind?
No. So right now, once we're done here, we go back home. We have about 15 new songs that are already recorded, mixed, mastered. We're working on single releases and then talking about what we want to do as far as like a record, or we want to do an EP. We have, some ideas of tours that we want to try and get on or try and do, but as an independent band with the representation that isn't the same as some bigger agencies, we have to kind of sit and you just sort of like beggars can't be choosers type thing. So we're trying. We'd love to be out. For us, if we can land something in May and be out from May till August or something.
That's perfect timing.
Exactly.
Well, that's what I've been discussing a lot of. Is one of the things that's good about coming to shows like this is when you're doing these smaller venues, it's more affordable for the American public because I look at some of these arena shows.
No, yeah.
Holy.
That's a whole other conversation that you can have about where we're looking at the consumerism in the United States comparative to the respect and the value of art comparative to Europe, and what consumerism is like in Europe and what art is like in Europe. And then obviously here it's like there's a lot of corporate interest in entertainment, and it's really not about the entertainment, it's about the value of the dollar and the properties that they own and all this other stuff. I mean, it's not an easy conversation to have, and at the end of the day, like most anything that happens in the world when it comes to money, the people that suffer the most are the people that don't have money, the people that profit the most are the people with the most money. And it's an unfortunate cycle that I, hopefully in my lifetime or my son's lifetime, we'll see the value system of art in general in the United States change because, it feels very much like art is only valuable for corporate interests, where corporate interests make devalue art in the public eye, and that's really unfortunate because art is the single most important factor in human existence. When we look at history through time in general, what's the one thing that we all learn from history? It's art. We wouldn't know what a civilization was from Sumeria 7,000 years ago without the art that they left. So I don't know. That's a really deep conversation. But I'm hoping that they figure out how to make it more valuable again for fans and stop charging exuberant prices for shows, and bands also are treated with more respect in the sense of how much money they can earn.
Yeah, I mean, because like I said, at the end of the day, you got to pay the bills. At the end of the day, I agree with that. I was saying, we do the arena shows, we do whatever. We talked about it the other day. We did 52 concerts last year. I lost track how many we went to,
and that's not getting any cheaper.
Oh God, no.
That's not getting any cheaper. But
we love it, and that's our. I work as a nurse, and my outlet is. Concert.
Of course. And I look at it like, if Europe can figure it out, the United States can figure figure it out too. I think it's, again, like I said, I think a lot of the difference in that, sort of space and looking at it is how do we feel about corporate interests in that space, right? Because that's the thing. It's Europe still has a lot of mom and pop home venues. The United States does not have a lot of those anymore.
No, not like it used to be, because I think a lot of it got wiped out during COVID.
Oh,
A
yeah.
lot of
Well,
it, because they didn't have nothing coming in and couldn't make money.
For sure.
It
was before that too. I worked as an independent booking agent for an independent venue in Lansing, and it's like, it's a conversation that's super complicated, but you can't, as a small music venue, you can't compete with an entity like, say, Live Nation. It's very, very difficult because they have the corporate dollars and the corporate funding and the pockets that can pay the bills for some of these artists and do things that a mom and pop venue just can't do. If you're running a 400-person venue and you want to book a band that their agent is used to getting X amount of dollars a night because they're playing Live Nation rooms, you can't be mad at them for expecting that because that's what they get. So they're not going to come play your place, and now you're forced to compete with that, and that's very difficult. That's not an easy thing to do.
Out of all the venues you play, what is your favorite venue you ever played?
My favorite venue I've ever played? Oh, that's a tough one, man. There's so many good ones, but I like that stand out in my head. The top three that are venues. There is a venue in Green Bay, Wisconsin. I forget the name of Epic Event Center. That place is the name. It's in the name. It's epic. It is absolutely mind blowing how freaking amazing this place is. And then there is the Machine Shop, obviously, in Michigan. That's a famous, just world-renowned venue. It's not a huge venue, but there's just something about that place that's super dope. And then I would say probably my third, we just probably played at the Mercury Ballroom in Louisville, Kentucky. Is a really nice place.
Yeah, there's not a bad seat in that place.
No, that place is a really badass venue. So, and like I said, we're very fortunate. We've been able to accomplish a lot of things as a band that has very little representation, and we've played some amazing places. But those are the places that stand out.
Yeah, I got two venues that really stand out for me. One is over in Cincinnati, Bogart's.
Yes.
Love Bogart's.
I've heard of Bogart's. We've never played Bogart's. Cincinnati's a town that's really difficult to get into. They don't have a lot of venues. I think Bogart's like the only place that they have.
I've been to, because it's Louisville's right, not Louisville. There's Madison's over in that area, Covington, where they got Madison Live. That's a pretty cool venue to play too, by the way. And then there's another one I love. It's on this other end over in Sauget, Illinois, called Pops.
Yeah, Sauget, yeah.
Have you ever been to Pops?
I've never been to Pops, but it's a very famous place.
Oh, it's a lot of fun.
And again, one of the very few remaining mom and pop places.
Yeah, Pops, with the name Pops. It's a great venue if y'all don't want to play one.
Yeah,
I saw a hardcore band there, and it just looked nice. I thought y'all might mention it, with Suicidal Tendencies.
Oh, yeah, man. Suicidal Tendencies, dude.
Yeah, that was back in my era when the metal bands were starting to pick up. But, it was real back then when Slayer got that first major label sided, and people were like, "Who?
Who's Slayer?"
Yeah, they're Suicidal Tendencies right behind them.
Yep, Suicidal Tendencies, Metallica, Slayer, Testament, all those bands, man.
Oh yeah, that was nothing but great back then. When they came out, it was. I'm showing my age a little bit. So.
I am too. It's okay.
I try not to show age, so I try to hide it a little bit. Well, we'll wrap this up. I appreciate you taking time with us, and catch Heartsick, Envoy, and Crowbot at the Chattanooga Barrelhouse in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And we're Outlander. We're out of here.
See you later.